August 15th, 1945. The sun rises over the Pacific Ocean as 6 American F-6F Hellcats fly toward Tokyo on what should be the final mission of World War II. Lieutenant Howard "Howdy" Harrison leads the squadron through thick morning clouds toward Atsugi Airfield near Tokyo. The American pilots arm their rockets and weapons, preparing for one last strike against Japanese forces. Harrison dives toward the airfield while enemy fighters wait silently below the clouds. Suddenly, a radio transmission breaks through the static. "Return to base immediately. The war is over." Cheers erupt across the radios as the American pilots celebrate victory high above Japan. The Hellcats perform victory rolls in loops while turning back toward their aircraft carrier fleet. Far behind them, Japanese Navy pilot Lieutenant Yutaka Morioka hears the surrender order with disbelief and anger. Some Japanese pilots obey the Emperor's command and head home toward their bases. But Morioka refuses to accept defeat and chooses revenge instead of surrender. His fighter squadron dives toward the celebrating Americans from high above the clouds. The Japanese attack begins suddenly as cannon fire tears across the morning sky. Harrison instantly realizes the ceasefire has been broken by the enemy fighters. He orders his men to drop their fuel tanks and rockets before turning to fight. The Hellcats climb sharply upward to meet the incoming Japanese aircraft head-on. Machine gun tracers and cannon shells streak across the sky during the first deadly pass. American Hellcats and Japanese Zero fighters race past one another at terrifying speed. Harrison locks eyes with a Japanese pilot before both aircraft twist into a brutal dogfight. The two fighters spiral higher into the clouds while searching for the perfect firing angle. At the perfect moment, Harrison suddenly pulls his aircraft upward and forces the enemy fighter to stall. The Japanese Zero hangs helplessly in the air, directly beneath Harrison's gun sight. Harrison opens fire and heavy .50 caliber bullets rip through the enemy aircraft. Flames burst from the Zero's fuel tanks as the fighter spins downward, trailing smoke. Around him, the sky becomes complete chaos as aircraft battle in every direction. Young Ensign Billy Hobbs struggles desperately while a Japanese fighter stays glued to his tail. Cannon rounds flash past Hobbs's cockpit as he throws the Hellcat violently side to side. Harrison dives from above and destroys the enemy fighter seconds before Hobbs is shot down. Nearby, Lieutenants Ted Hansen and Maury Proctor battle multiple Japanese Army fighters. Hansen's machine guns rip apart one enemy aircraft, charging directly toward him. Proctor destroys another Japanese fighter, attempting to attack from behind the formation. Burning wreckage falls through the clouds as both sides continue fighting, despite the war officially ending. Elsewhere in the battle, Lieutenant Joseph Saloff and Ensign Eugene Manderberg come under devastating attack. Japanese cannon fire tears through their Hellcats and fills the sky with smoke and debris. Manderberg's aircraft suddenly erupts into flames before crashing into the ocean below. Saloff's damaged fighter barely remains airborne while another enemy locks onto his tail. Just before the Japanese pilot can finish him, Proctor dives into the fight to help. Proctor blasts the attacking fighter apart with a burst of machine gun fire. Saloff tries desperately to escape, but his Hellcat is too badly damaged to survive. Smoke fills the cockpit while warning lights flash across the instrument panel. Realizing the aircraft cannot be saved, Saloff ejects low over the Pacific Ocean. His crippled Hellcat plunges into the sea moments after he escapes by parachute. Harrison and Hobbs attempt to break away from the battle and return to safety. Suddenly, Morioka appears behind them and unleashes heavy cannon fire from close range. The powerful rounds slam directly into Harrison's Hellcat and tear through the aircraft. Harrison orders Hobbs to escape immediately, but the young pilot refuses to leave his commander behind. Hobbs charges toward Morioka in anger and opens fire at the Japanese ace. But his bullets miss the enemy fighter as Morioka calmly holds his position. Another devastating burst of cannon fire strikes Harrison's Hellcat directly in the center. The American aircraft explodes in midair and scatters burning wreckage across the sky. Blinded by rage, Hobbs chases Morioka without checking behind his own aircraft. A second Japanese fighter suddenly dives onto Hobbs's tail and opens fire. Bullets rip through the Hellcat while flames spread rapidly across the cockpit area. Badly wounded, Hobbs struggles to open the canopy before jumping from the burning aircraft. His parachute opens above the ocean while the destroyed Hellcat tumbles into the sea below. As the battle finally fades, the surviving American pilots race back toward USS Yorktown. Ted Hansen lands safely on the carrier deck and searches desperately for the missing pilots. For several painful moments, no other aircraft appear anywhere above the ocean horizon. Then a badly damaged Hellcat finally emerges from the distance through the clouds. Maury Proctor barely manages to land his shattered aircraft safely on the carrier deck. The exhausted survivors realize they are the only American pilots left alive after the battle. On the very day peace was declared, pilots from both nations died in the final dogfight of World War II.